Welcome back to Real Talk with Stef. Who here has ever taken a break from training, from their regular training program? It might be because you've gone on holidays, you've had an injury where you're not able to train, or you've just taken time off. When you're able to get back into training, whether it's been 2 weeks, 4 months, or a year, it can be quite unmotivating. You might be filled with some anxiety, you're worried about returning because you've had such a long break. And while it is, a scary and can make you feel like a little uneasy, we need to remember that exercise is really good for us, as we know, and not exercising can be quite detrimental to our health and well-being. So when we take time off training, what are not so much the consequences, but what are the things that happen that we might not take into account before we do take a break? Things like weight gain, and it happens a lot faster because we're not actually doing much exercise or moving our bodies as much as what we were when we were training. We start to develop muscle and joint pain because, again, we're not moving as much as what we were when we were training. Feeling more fatigued and less energy. Exercise, I'm sure I've mentioned on this video chat several times before, but the endorphins that we release when we're exercising really help not just our mood, but give us more energy throughout the day and make us less fatigued. So that's really important to remember when if we're going to take a break from training. We don't feel as confident, and it's something that maybe we don't take into account if we are thinking of taking a break. But because we're not exercising, and again, we don't have that energy and we're feeling quite fatigued, the other sort of little minor our mind starts to take over, and we feel less confident because, we're not exercising, I'm a little bit less tighter, or I'm a bit flabbier, or whatever those sort of things are, or, I put on weight. So all those things build up and we get less confident with ourselves. And the other one is stress. I've gone on and on and on about how exercise is not just about looking good or weight loss or strength building, but for so many people out there, it's about stress relief. You've had a bad day at work, you go to the gym, you do a workout. You've had a crappy sleep, you go to the gym so that you can sort of relieve some of that stress before your day or a busy meeting or something like that. So when we're not exercising and we're not getting those benefits of exercise for both our physical and mental health, our stress levels can increase. And that's something that we really want to make sure that we don't continue with, because, if you're stressed, it sort of affects every sort of area of our lives. Like I said, it can be quite hard to get back into training when you've had some time off. So I wanted to go through some tips to sort of make it a little bit easier for you and to encourage you to get back into your fitness regime, because it's really important for your health. Number one, start slow. And this is something I say to anyone, whether they've come back from a break or even if they're starting something new. Start slow. There's no point in doing something where you're going to exert yourself to be on point and you haven't done anything for ages. You need to get back into the rhythm of training, and it's going to take its toll on you. So start slow, whether it's go for a walk and increase that slowly, into a jog, into a run. In regards to if you're training in a gym environment, don't go to like heavy weights that you would have done maybe a year ago when you were training. Yes, your fitness has decreased over the time that you've had off. So you need to start slow and build up on top of that. So number two, be ambitious, but don't overwhelm yourself. Go at your own pace, especially in a group environment. You don't need to keep up with your friends or the person next to you. Your training experience is going to be different to everybody else's. So it's super important that you remember that your fitness journey and the person next to you when you're training are completely different. They may have been training for 5 years consistently. They might not have had any breaks other than like a week holiday here and there. You've come back, so you can't be comparing yourself to that person next to you, because You might have had 2 months off, or you might have had a year off. You might be coming back from an injury that's going to prevent you from doing certain exercises. So go at your own pace and ease back into training. Number 3, no one ever regrets exercise. You never leave your training session and go, oh, that was crap. Remember how I said that when you exercise, we release endorphins and it makes us feel good about ourselves. So remember those feelings when you're going to start back training, because those were great feelings that you had. Yes, it was tough, and yes, you sweated, which is great, but it also made you feel good. You emotionally will have a more productive day. You'll feel better. You're going to feel happier. So that's really important to remember when getting back into training. Number 4, schedule it. It might sound really stupid, but whether it's a 10-minute walk or it's an hour session at the gym, schedule it in. You're more likely to keep that training time for you if you schedule it in your diary, your calendar, and make that your time. Think of it as an appointment with yourself. Give yourself that hour, 30 minutes, whatever it is, to get your training in. It's going to make you feel better, and it's going to get you back to where you were before you had a break. And number 5, have an exercise buddy. An exercise buddy is a great way to stay motivated. It's a great way to stay accountable. If you know that your friend is meeting you to train, then you're more than likely going to turn up to train because you don't want to let them down. And that's a great way to start if you've had a break for a while. Just to keep you accountable and keep you turning up to your training, rather than going, I'm going to go for a run by myself at 6:30 in the morning before work. 9 times out of 10, you're going to hit the snooze button. But if you know that your friend is going to be meeting you out the front of your house or at the corner, you are going to get up because you don't want to let that friend down. Think about it that way. So they were my 5 sort of tips in regards to ways to sort of overcome that break that you've had from training. It's really important that you continue your training, whether you've had a break and you're coming back. It's great for your physical benefits, but also for your mental health. It's really important that we look after ourselves, both physically and mentally. And if you have had a break, don't stress. We all stop and start things from time to time, but it's about getting that motivation back to start your training again. If you're looking for a group atmosphere type training, then our Fit for All classes are a really great way for you to stay motivated, to work on your own personal goals, but in a group environment that's really encouraging, and it sort of will encourage you to turn up because these people that you're going to be training with become your friends, and it's a really friendly environment. But that was Real Talk today with Stef, and that was about having a break and how to get back into training. Have a great day.